right, what's going on? So, just gonna sort that angle out. There we go. That's a little better. Oh, no, that's worse. Here we go. All right. So we're back. We are live. We're going to be on the podcast very shortly. We're going to be talking today about how you are a product of your environment. Now, before we get into the show, as always, I want to touch on what we're trying to do here, what the goal of the show is. The goal of the show is to help athletes in every area of their game, help athletes level up as human beings, in their skill set, in their strength and conditioning, in every area of their game, so that they can build the careers they're after, so that they can reach their true potential and they don't have to finish their careers short and finish their careers with regret. Now, today we're talking about being the product of your environment. And yeah, why not? Let's go. Let's get into it. So we're going to talk about being the product of your environment. And we're going in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Elite Development Podcast, the #1 show for athletes looking to gain an edge on their opponents and build their dream careers in sport. I'm your host, Kenny Dusseault, and today we are talking about being the product of your environment. Now, the reason this is so important and the reason I wanted to bring this one to you guys is because this is something I see a lot within my own business, my own athletes, where they deal with these issues with self-doubt. They deal with these issues with, their mindset and all of these things. And when I have conversations with them about it, it becomes very, very clear that they're surrounded by people who are not conducive to trying to be successful at something. Whether it's parents, friends, family, whoever, they're surrounded by people who, instead of, being supportive, pushing them forward towards their goals, talking them up, talking about, how much they're going to be able to do, even like helping or doing whatever. Instead of that, they're surrounded by people who put them down, surrounded by people who second guess them, who question their goals, question their work ethic, try to push them into, the party life, whatever it might be. And it becomes increasingly difficult to get away from that. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about my own story in, switching up my environment in order to become a product of a better environment, and how that's helped me and how that can hopefully help you too. If I sneeze, I apologize in advance. I can feel one sitting right at the top of my nose, so hopefully it doesn't come out. But let's get going. So the first time that I really started understanding that you're a product of your environment, but also that you can change that environment, was through COVID. I had been working at a gym, and the gym that I was working at, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of really good things about it. So if anyone from that gym is listening to this, this is not a shot at anybody, but I just wasn't happy in that environment. I felt like, things were it has to be done a certain way. And if it's not done this way, you're wrong. And there were just issues that I just didn't vibe with. And, for anyone who did vibe with it, great. Anybody who didn't, I understand too. But it just wasn't a good environment for me. And I got out of that gym and I moved into another situation that I was, starting my own business. I was renting from a gym. And there were another whole host of problems with this gym I was renting from. And so when COVID shut the world down, it really gave me the time to sit back and actually gain perspective on what I want to achieve in the industry, what I want to do as a coach and just as a human being. And so it was the first time where I was out of all of these environments, and I realized that I spent a lot of my days being worried about judgment. I spent a lot of my days being worried about, people thinking that the coaching I was doing wasn't good, and people thinking that, something I was wearing looked stupid, or people think, like, whatever it might be. I spent so much of my days worried about judgment that I realized that energy wasn't productive, but that energy was there because of the people I was surrounding myself with. That energy was there because of the environments that I was in. I was in environments with people that I didn't feel like I was thriving. And, again, not any shot against any of these one people. It's not any of their faults that I didn't feel like I was thriving. It's my own. Because it put me into a box where I didn't feel like I could really reach the potential that I knew I had. So when I was sitting at home alone for those first 3 months of COVID shutting the world down, I really started thinking, what's wrong with where I'm at? And I started realizing that, I feel like I'm spending all my time worrying about being judged. So I thought, okay, how do I stop worrying about being judged? First of all, I put myself in an environment that makes more sense for me. And second, I start working on myself so that I don't give a shit what anyone has to say or what anyone thinks about me. And so every day during that time through COVID, I spent time working on my mindset to stop caring what other people thought of me. And I started working on being able to change my environment, being able to do things differently when the world opened back up again. And so I pretty much shut myself off from everyone. Like, I didn't talk much to my family. I didn't talk much to people that I used to work with. I didn't talk much to really anyone but clients. And there were times for sure where that was lonely and that was tough, but I realized that it was the only way for me to really understand what kind of environment I needed to thrive, was to just not be in any of them, be away from all of it. And then in turn, I could come up with what made sense to me and what I needed to be able to accomplish the things I knew I wanted to accomplish. So through those 3 months, I really started understanding the importance of environment, because when I was waking up every day, pumping my mind full of personal development stuff, pumping my mind full of coaches that I admired and information and education, I realized that I was thriving more through COVID than I was when the world was open. And so it made me really conscious of the fact that when the world opens back up, I need to keep this going. I can't have these great 3 months and then fall back into a bad environment when the world opened up. And one of the other things that it really opened my eyes to with COVID was drinking. I never considered my drinking to be a problem, because I'd go out on the weekends, I'd have more than enough fun, to put it lightly. And then, usually I didn't get too hungover. So I thought, it's no big deal. I wake up Sunday and I'm all good to go. But the problem is that I would wake up Sunday and I'd be exhausted. So I'd make it through the day, but the day wasn't good. So when COVID came around and I realized that, man, when I don't drink on Saturday, I wake up and I have such a better day on Sunday, I started realizing that, again, part of the environment. Who am I surrounding myself with? I'm surrounding myself with people who want to be out drinking all the time. And I want to really reinforce, this is not a shot at any of those people. You live your life the way you want to live your life. And I was absolutely, at the time, not objecting to going out drinking all the time. I was right there leading the party. I was right there, it just, all of it. I was that guy. But as soon as I was away from it, I realized how much happier I was not doing it. And once I realized that, I realized I have to take myself out of the environment with these people that want to be out drinking all the time. And if I can do that, I'm going to put myself in a position to thrive. So that was really the first piece of me understanding the importance of environment, and understanding that even if you have big goals, you need to put yourself around other people with big goals in order to be successful. Now, the reason I want to bring this one to you is because I know a lot of you guys out there, a lot of the athletes listening to this, have big goals and they don't know how to, and they don't have a blueprint. They don't have the blueprint to say, these are the things I need to do in order to achieve the goals that I have. And if you don't have that blueprint, it becomes very difficult to stay away from those poor environments. It becomes very difficult to say no to the night out drinking. It becomes very difficult to really, truly not care that your friends think you're boring, or, these other people that you're around don't appreciate what you're doing with your life. Because if you don't see that clear path and you just see it as, my friends are all going out having fun and I'm saying no, then it becomes very difficult to stick to that, because you don't have the people around you that understand what you're doing. You don't have the people around you that are also doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So one of the biggest things that I want you to take away from that first piece, and we're going to get into another piece soon here. One of the biggest things I want you to take away from that first piece is that if you are in a bad environment right now, you're around people who don't support the goals you have, you don't feel like you can actually tell them the goals you have, you don't feel like you can just authentically be yourself, you need to get away from that. And it doesn't mean you need to shut those people out entirely, never speak to them again, cut them out of your life, but minimize it. Don't see them every week. Put yourself in other circles. Start doing other things so that you're not falling into those conversations and into those habits again. And on top of that, work on your mindset. Work on your mindset so that you can consciously tell yourself why you don't want to fall back into those habits. One of the best things I ever started doing, coming back to, for me, it was drinking. One of the best things I ever started doing was I started focusing on the feeling instead of focusing on the activity. I enjoyed the nights out. I enjoyed the lack of inhibition and overthinking and all of that drinking brought me, because I'd go out, I'd have fun, I'd be the, quote unquote life of the party. But then I'd wake up the next day with regret, and I'd wake up the next day hungover, and I'd wake up the next day feeling like shit. So then instead of focusing on, man, I had fun on Friday night, I'd focus on, man, I felt like a complete piece of shit Saturday morning. And I feel so much better when I don't fucking do this to myself. And by reframing that over and over in my mind, literally every single day, it got me to the point where now it's not even remotely tempting. I could have friends come up to me and say, hey, we're going out, we're going to these 5 places, it's going to be so much fun, we're going to be doing this, doing that. I don't fucking want to go. I do not want a fucking drop of alcohol crossing my lips. It is not even the least bit tempting now, because I've reframed it to myself in my mind. Where so many of you guys, if you're in a similar situation, you just say, yeah, I'm not going to drink anymore. And then that Friday night, your buddy says, hey, you want to go out for a few beers? Then you go for it, because, why not? So you need to work on that kind of thing every day. So the next piece of, this story of understanding your environments and understanding what your environments do to you, the next piece of the story was just within the last year. About 13 months ago now, I joined a business mentorship program called the Change Lives Academy. And the whole idea was, in the beginning, it's about, learning how to build your business, learning how to market on social media, learning how to do these things that are very important for running a business. And then what I realized as I joined is that I found an environment of people similar to myself. I found an environment of high-level people looking to make an impact on the world, where you can be authentically yourself and not have to worry about someone thinking that your goals are too big, or not have to worry about someone thinking that what you're doing is unrealistic or anything like that. And so I joined this group and, immediately started to thrive. The size of my business grew, tripled in 3 months. The delivery to my clients got way better. Every piece of what I do hit new levels, because I was finally in an environment where I could come to these people and legitimately say, I want the work that I do to change the fucking world. And they were like, hell yeah, not, who are you to say that? Which is what I would get from most other people. So I was finally in a position where I was comfortable and confident to actually express the goals that I have, not what I think everyone else wants me to say. And as a result, I put myself in a position to succeed, and I started to thrive. And to the point, guys, where this sounds crazy. So anybody who doesn't know, I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And just last month, this group, the people who run this group, put on an event in Sydney, Australia. So that's 20 plus hours of traveling. And without hesitation, when they put the tickets to the event live, I bought a ticket, because you are the product of your environment. You are the product of the people you spend time with. And if I am going to spend time with anyone, it is going to be high-level motherfuckers that help foster each other's potential. High-level people that want to see each other succeed. I'm not spending my energy on fucking idiots or losers that are trying to pull you backwards. I'm spending my energy around people who want to see me succeed, because I want to be that for the athletes that I work with too. And that ticket was a $2,300 flight, then accommodations, food, everything. None of it was included. So I spent probably $5,000 for a week and a half in Australia to spend time in this environment with these people, because of the changes that they've been able to make to my life, and because of what I know they allow me to impact other people. Now, from these stories, from what I've been talking about here, what I really want you guys to take away is audit your environment. Audit the people you spend your time with. Think about the goals you have for your life, for your career, for your athletic career, whatever it is, and ask yourself, think about the people closest to you and ask yourself, if I went to them and I said, I want to be a world champion athlete, are they going to laugh and make fun of me for that? Or are they going to be excited and push me towards that and want me to succeed? And ask yourself that, because if the answer is they would make fun of me and, drag me down or whatever, you're in the wrong environment. You don't lack self-belief because you don't believe in yourself. You lack self-belief because from every angle, you're told that you're going to amount to fucking nothing. But if you surround yourself with the people that can actually see the potential in you, you're going to put yourself in a position to thrive. So audit your environment, audit the people in your circle, audit who you spend your time with. Ask yourself, are they pushing you forward or are they pulling you back? And if they're pushing you forward, fuck yeah, stay closer to those people. That's why, like I said, when my business mentors put on an event in Australia, I didn't hesitate. I bought a fucking ticket and I spent $5,000 to go out there and spend time with them. Because when I come to them and I say, hey, I'm working on this idea, it's like pretty audacious and I'm, really trying to make an impact in the world, they're going, fuck yeah, how can we help? We believe in what you're doing. Whereas there are a lot of people that have been in my life before that I would say those same things to, and they'd laugh at me and go, stay in your fucking lane, idiot. It's like, who do you want to spend your time around? And obviously on top of that, you're not just going to surround yourself with better people and then all of a sudden magically become, this high level person making an impact all over the world. You've got to do the fucking work. You've got to be passionate about it too. But if you are not in the right environment, you can be the best version of yourself and you're going to spend all your energy and all your time fighting other people instead of spending all your energy and all your time actually pushing yourself and those around you forward. So think about who you're around, think about who you spend your time with, and think about, do they come to you with problems about what you're doing? Do they come to you with, oh, this is why it won't work? Or do they come to you with solutions? Do they come to you with support? Are they people you can turn to and authentically be yourself? So guys, I hope this was valuable. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, I would love to know what it is. Make sure you drop a comment if you're here on the live stream right now. Make sure that if you are listening back to this on the podcast, watching on the YouTube channel, you're subscribing, you're following me on my other social media platforms. All the information on how to do so will be in the show notes below. Now, hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Appreciate you all for tuning in, especially if you made it this far, and I'll catch you on the next episode.